Hey, Art Nerds, good evening. So this week was a bit exciting. We had a hurricane this week, Hurricane Delta. And last night there was a lot of wind and a lot of rain. But honestly, the biggest fear I had was that the fire at my neighbor's house in their front yard would catch their door and set the whole neighborhood on fire. And fortunately, the rain put that out. So I'm here. I survived. I hope everyone else who was in affected and afflicted areas are safe, they're warm, they're in a secure environment. And so I am able to stream with you guys tonight. So originally I wanted to do painted foam pumpkins. I bought some from Michael's and I still intend on painting them. But I wanted to do them outside on my porch, and with weather as unpredictable as it was, I thought it would be better if we kind of retooled the stream's theme. So instead, we are going to be painting very easy metallic pumpkins on black watercolor paper. You guys probably know how much I like black watercolor paper. We did a stream where we painted betta fish on black watercolor using metallic paints a while back, and I really enjoyed that stream and I was really happy with the end product. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. It's kind of an easier, more laid back sort of topic. And part of that is because I've just been so busy with like everything else. Let me show you guys. So I'm not doing Inktober this year. There was a lot of talk about that this year. I'm not going to get into it personally, but it wasn't necessarily what happened this year that kind of put me off of the term Inktober, but what happened last year where zine artists were receiving C&Ds for participating in it and then selling their zines as they were encouraged originally to do. And that really kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So I am doing my 4th year of Lilliputian living. And that's basically a yearly zine where I do world building prompts for the Lilliputian world that 7-inch Kara is set in. And this is a really fun opportunity for me to kind of spread my wings a bit. Kara is a very specific Lilliputian family in a very specific environment with, you know, just very specific conditions. And this world building exercise allows me to draw all sorts of different types of Lilliputians and, you know, different races of Lilliputians. So I look forward to Lilliputian living every year because it's just kind of a chance to do something a little bit different than what I would normally do. And I am 10 days in. The stream needed to begin before I quite finished today's prompt. And I already have tomorrow's sketched out, so I'll ink that tomorrow. But basically this year I'm doing Lilliputians using human things for different purposes and showing how they repurpose human items. So I've been sharing them every day over on Instagram, on the community tab, and over on Twitter. And Instagram tends to get the full prompt, like regardless of what's going on. So if this sounds like your jam, you should check out my Instagram. I'll pop a link in the chat. You can also kind of keep an eye on what I'm up to, and it's a great way to see sneak peeks of what I'm working on for the channel. So this has kept me plenty busy and honestly a little bit worn out. So tonight I'm also dual recording. I'm using my new phone to try capturing this in time-lapse, and then I have another phone because I just can't get enough phones. I have my old phone over on the side so that we can kind of get a different angle. And then of course I'm also recording with the webcam. So one of the first things I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to bring up pumpkin reference. If you don't know what something looks like, or even if you're not sure if you know what something looks like, reference is your best bud. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the desktop view. And it's being funky tonight. Properties, proper-tools. Why are you not capturing the desktop? Okay, well, I don't necessarily have time to figure it out, so I'm sure you guys can Google pumpkins And I want an image that also includes the leaves. Guess it's going to be kind of a quiet stream tonight, I guess. While I'm waiting, what I can do is I can send it out and let everybody know that we've gone live. Hi, Kelly. So there was something you wanted to talk to me about last week, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it. Is that still something you want to talk about? Hey, Leon, good evening. I'm good. How are y'all? All right, so for tonight, I am working on Shizen black watercolor paper. I just finished up a review of this, so I'm pretty excited to get to play around with it some more. If you don't have black watercolor paper, you can use black construction paper, you can use black poster board, and I'm also going to be using beautiful metallic watercolors because those will show up on the paper. So something else that works really well for this is just regular crayons. Regular crayons are going to show up really, really well on black paper. They're really going to pop. And I have over here my thumbnail. So it's just a quick illustration of what I want the end piece to kind of look like. You can paint your pumpkin whatever color you want to paint your pumpkin. It is your pumpkin. It can be a green Frankenstein pumpkin. It can be a white ghost pumpkin. It can be a traditional orange jack-o'-lantern. Whatever you want to do with your pumpkin is a-okay with me. I'm gonna do an orange pumpkin. All right, so I've got my brushes. I've got a cup of clean water. And Tali asks, how can I come up with a world building challenge for my own comic? Well, you just think about what you want to further develop in your comic, or what you never really got a lot of a chance to explain, or some element of your comics world that you really like and you'd like to explore it more, but it doesn't really fit in the scope of your comic itself. Of course, you know, you may end up working some of those things in. All right, so the first thing is I am starting with colored lead. I'm gonna draw kind of an oblong shape, and hopefully y'all can see it. I'll draw a long stem. And then another long stem coming off the side. And pumpkins have these really big leaves, so I'm kind of blocking off the leaves as circular shapes, and then I'm going to kind of subdivide those later. And you can use a colored pencil for this. No problem. Just think about what is it in your comic that you want to explore more. Okay, so I have my basic pumpkin shape. Oh, you can't even see it. Let me see if I can fix that. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see the basic pumpkin shape. And then I'm going to kind of divide it into segments. And then I went ahead and I put some water on my watercolors, and that's going to allow the pigments to kind of become activated, and what that means is they kind of loosen up and they lift off of the pans so they're easier for your brush to pick up. So the next thing I want to do is I want to find like a nice brown or a brownish gold. And I have a lot of metallic watercolors. Whoa! That's exciting. That's always exciting when that happens. Let's get that fixed. That's what happens when I'm like Icarus and I fly a little too close to the sun. Try to do too many things. Okay, cross your fingers for me that it won't fall again. Ooh, this one actually has some really nice pumpkin-y colors. So what's neat about the Finetec is that you can just pull them out. I know, I was being careful, but my recording setup has a mind of its own. So I'm going to start with the stem, and I have this really nice brownish color here. It's like a sparkly brown. I don't know if y'all heard that, but that was my cat, Bowie, stampeding in. Hi, Bo. What you up to? So what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to color the whole thing. I'm trying to leave some of the black still visible. And this set doesn't have a lot of greens, but fortunately I've got a couple of greens on standby. So I'm going to go ahead and wet these. That's really cool. You are definitely in the Halloween spirit tonight, Kelly. And painting a pumpkin is so much easier than carving a pumpkin, I think. All right, next I'm going to do the curly stem. So what I did is one long brush stroke, pushing down at the top so that we get the wider stroke. You know, we were at the plant nursery today and they had all these pumpkins, and I really thought about getting one. I really did, but I am not super great at carving pumpkins. I'm actually terrible at carving pumpkins. And I'm not super great about remembering to remove them from my porch before they rot. So I thought it was best that I leave the pumpkins to the professionals. That didn't work. Pumpkin professionals. Professional punkinistas? Punksters? I don't know. Y'all have to help me come up with a puntastic name for people who are good at carving pumpkins. And like I mentioned, I've got my handy reference pulled up because I don't remember what pumpkin leaves look like off the top of my head. Check the danger cam. Danger cam. All right, it's time for us to let's start with our middle orange first. Oh no, look, I got some brown on there. Arr. And Kelly says, I have a lot of carving kits, but I don't use them for this Halloween. I'm going to give them to kids who need them. That's really nice of you. But what? Are you not carving your pumpkin this year? Are you painting it instead? I don't know. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to leave kind of the black edge, or where two pumpkin segments would meet. You know how they kind of curve in? I'm trying to leave that black. All right. Feeling pretty good about that so far. But I feel like we need some more leaves. We need some more green. You know, if you paint the pumpkin, it's going to last longer than if you carve it too, because carving it opens it up for it to rot. All right, so unfortunately, the next step requires patience. It means letting the paint dry. But it's looking pretty good so far. Or it means overcomplicating everything, as I always do. would pumpkin carvers be a name for a professional? I don't know. It's as good a name as any. I was hoping for something a little bit more punny, but sure, pumpkin carvers would work. I know there are people who do it professionally for money. I mean, not year round, but at least during Halloween. But I don't know if they like have a special name or if they are just pumpkin carvers. While I watch some paint dry, I'll activate some of the other colors I know I'm going to need. So did you guys do anything interesting or fun or unusual this week? Anything that you feel like talking about? It was kind of a quiet week this week. I feel like every time there's a hurricane or, you know, we're under a hurricane watch or a hurricane warning, there's like all this hurry up and prep, hurry up and prep, hurry up and prep, and then the hurricane happens. And then if you're fortunate, you know, you don't suffer any damages and you don't have to really do any cleanup. And it's just kind of like, okay, and we're done. And so a lot of my week went to kind of keeping an eye on Hurricane Delta and seeing if we were going to get hit and kind of wondering whether or not we were going to evacuate this time or not. And we decided not to. Last time for Sally, we went to my mom's house because she's got an electric generator. And we kind of figured if you're going to be stuck without electricity, you might as well be comfortable. But this time we decided to just tough it out. So I can still see a bit of shine on the paper. I don't want to like disrupt it too much, but I want to show you guys. So it's like a wet shininess rather than like a just the metallic shiny. It was crazy at school outside because some girls were dancing weird. Wow. That had quite an effect on school then. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of detail on the stem and on the leaves using a blue. What do you mean dancing weird? Were they like doing the robot? And this over here is still wet, so what we're going to get is this wet into wet blend of the two colors. Joseph, what's your best weird dance? Do you know any weird dances?
Cross step.
Oh, you can cross step. No, that's not that weird. So that tells me you don't know any dances.
Guess not.
That's okay. I don't know any weird dances either, really. I used to know how to do the monster mash because we would do it in ballet every year at Halloween, but I mean, that's been a really, really long time. Callie says, I'm glad you're safe. If you were in a hurricane, my heart would be crushed. I'm making paper pulp for my paper mache relief sculptures. That's really cool. Oh, they were doing the robot. Okay, that's not like super duper weird. It's pretty cool. I wonder where they learned that. And I promise you guys, I will always try to stay as safe as possible. Alright, adding just a few more details to the stem, mostly because I'm waiting for everything else to dry. But I'm impatient. So let's see, we did this orange. This is going to be our highlight orange, which might not work super well, but we'll see. And I'm only going to use it in a couple places just to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. That's a good idea, putting it outside to dry. And that way you're not going to like accidentally walk into it or anything. Or like the dog will come and like the dog fur all over it. Alright, so now I have kind of a reddish orange. And I'm just going to use that to put in a little bit of shadow just here and there. Sure thing. I don't think we are doing anything for Halloween this year. I didn't even buy candy this year. Yeah, I bet. And plus, like, working in sculpture or working in 3D is really great if you kind of think with your fingers more, you know what I mean? Rather than like thinking two-dimensionally like you need, like one does when they're drawing. And then finally, I'm getting a little bit of black. I don't really want too much. And I'm just going to add some shadows back in. And then all I have to do is wait for this leaf to dry over here. We're going to have kind of a shorter stream tonight, which isn't so bad. Sometimes it's nice to do things that are quick and pretty easy, right? I wish they'd let people do that. Where is he? He's not wearing his halter anymore, so we can't do that. No kids yet, so it's not like we can bring them out for trick-or-treating. Dry enough. What do you think of my pumpkin? Yeah, it's a good pumpkin. I could put it in an envelope and mail it off to someone. So I have this dark red color. Whenever I mess with these, it always feels like I'm doing a makeup tutorial, and that is not at all the case. I don't.
Mail it to a random patron.
I could. And I'm just doing a little bit of red down at the bottom. And then I'm basically done.
Is that bigger than 5x7?
It is 5x7.
So you can literally just put a stamp on the back?
I could, but it get damaged in the mail. So I want to at least like, I do have like those clear plastic bags, so I could put the stamp on the back and then put, well, then they can't stamp the stamp. Oh, USPS, why you have to be so confusing?
Yeah, it's put in an envelope.
Sit and watch paint dry. I think that's about it. I will have a time-lapse version of this tutorial available to you guys soon. It was a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight. I'm sorry it's such a short topic, but it means you can go out and try it yourselves. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Go out and do arty things and paint pumpkins or carve pumpkins. And hopefully I'll see you guys next week, where we will either do an alcohol marker witch or we'll finally paint those pumpkins. So I'll see you guys next Saturday. Bye, guys.